Here in the audience, we do, we have two people, but we're gonna go ahead and get straight into the meeting. Do I have any citizens communications? Oh, are you doing citizen communication? Okay, Sandy,
I need to be first.
yay.
So I'm here tonight to, make a complaint against, Robert, based on what I've seen in the meetings and just kind of, I'm really disappointed because I encouraged, you to run. But I also said, you know, if you start acting like a crazy man, and you know I don't mean crazy, that I would be one of the first to call you on it. Well, I don't know that I'm the first, but I'm here tonight to say, Robert, I am so disappointed. I really thought you could make a difference on the board. I thought that you would, you were passionate about things. Here we are. Did somebody say something?
It just got your echo.
Oh, okay. So, some of my specific complaints are, texting your apparently now wife, during the meeting, playing games on your computer during the meeting, refusing to participate in the meetings, refusing to vote, even refusing to say the minutes are correct. I think that's just being mad. And it's okay to be mad, but you can't let it affect your job, and this is your job. You're getting a stipend, I assume, every month, all the directors, you get paid. I don't even know how much, it doesn't matter to me. If it was $10, I would be upset. So you're not earning your job, you're not doing your job. And so, as a result, I really think you should resign. And obviously I have no power over that, I'm one person, but I think that I'm probably not the only person that's frustrated, or the only person that's saying, hey, what happened to Robert? Where is he, what happened? There's no evidence of him being on the board. So I just want you to know that, and I just think it's time for you to go and let someone else come in that's interested in fulfilling your position on this board.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Now, do you have an OA update? Can we just get that out of the way real quick? Sorry.
OA is short. We had, on January 9th, we had our budget meeting and we planned the events. I don't have specific dates for everything, but it's my responsibility to get those done, and I promised Amy I would get those to her by the end of the week.
Okay, great.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Before we go into audit, I'm gonna move up number 28 and 29, which is election of officers, and then if you change officers, then you do district registration form. So, election of officers. Had a conversation with Sean. We don't have to have a treasurer. What you actually legally have to have is a president, vice president, secretary, and assistant secretary. Which kind of surprises me. I would think treasurer would be one, but that's okay. But what we need is, so here's my suggestion, see if we get a second, then we have discussion. My suggestion is, I would stay as president, Director Shoemaker stay as vice president. Either Johnson, you could move into secretary, and then Amanda assistant secretary, or vice versa, however you guys wanna split it. And just leave it like that and not have a treasurer. So do I have a second for discussion?
I'll second for discussion.
Okay. So one of my main points is we are about to go into some pretty serious documentation for the bond. And it goes to the AG's office, and Sean has had a concern and has talked to our bond counsel about it. And we need to make sure that our secretary is signing these documents. Otherwise, because we hand them our board resolution, we hand them who is an officer. And if those aren't matching, they wanna know why they're not matching. I think Director Johnson, you're pretty much consistently, but that's my recommendation. So I'm gonna go around the room. Director Shoemaker.
I don't have a comment at this time. I was still trying to chew on this, and then, sorry, someone from work was letting me know they need to meet for something, so.
Yeah, that's okay.
Apologies, I was trying to tell them I'm in the meeting.
Okay, all right.
So you can come back to me. in a
Sure,
second.
Director Stanfield.
I don't have any comments.
Okay, Director Johnson.
I don't have any comments.
Okay, Director Young.
Yeah, I just think, all that's fine, except I really think Director Logan should no longer be president of this board. It's detrimental, and, I'm gonna vote against anything that
Okay,
keeps her as president.
okay, Director Shoemaker, do you have any more?
No other comments, I mean, yeah, we can, yeah, no other comments.
Okay, all in favor of what I suggested, aye?
Aye,
Any opposed?
No,
Okay, so you're voting no.
So
Okay,
just to make sure I had Logan the president, Shoemaker vice president, Johnson secretary, Stanfield secretary.
yeah, and Director Young did a big no with his thumbs down. Okay, great, so now,
I'm sorry, just to clarify, Director Young.
it was only one thumb down, she said thumbs in the plural.
okay, just the district registration form, do we need?
Yeah, we just need to approve that, to confirm all the new offices.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the district registration form? Do I have a motion?
motion,
Second.
yeah,
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
aye,
Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay, Director Young, did you vote?
I've already discussed my votes with,
Okay, so you did not vote on
attorney,
that? Okay, all right,
and,
Yeah, so just, you mind if I, well, go ahead and I'll.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so Robert and I did chat, and I've conveyed to him that typically in this sort of voting style, Robert's rules, if there's not an abstention or a negative vote
it's,
offered, it's
It's
assumed that
offered.
it's an affirmative, so Robert has told me he will confirm any vote that he doesn't want recorded as an affirmative vote.
okay, moving on. Let's go to the audit. Welcome.
Alright, good evening, everyone, I'm Ashley with McCall Gibson's Swidland Barfoot Nellis. Just to remind you all, or for those of you who might be new to the process, audit is required for a couple of reasons. One, it's required by TCEQ and required to be submitted to them within 135 days of year end. It's also required for your continuing bond disclosures, so, I think you've got just a few more years left on the bonds, but that's just another reason the audit's required. And I've handed out a copy of the audit report to everyone. I'll go through the audit with you at a relatively high level, but if you have any questions, stop me and we'll try to get those answered for you. Let's see here, if you turn about 3 pages in on the audit report to the page that is on McCall Gibson letterhead, at the top of this page is the audit opinion, and again, this year for the fiscal year ended September 30th, 2024, the district received an unmodified opinion, which is also known as a clean opinion and the best opinion that you can get. Following that, running from pages 5 through 9 is what's known as the management's discussion and analysis. It provides a really good high-level overview of the district's financial activities for the year ended September 30th, 2024. I generally recommend that if anyone's gonna read anything in the audit report, go get the biggest bang for their buck reading these few pages. But what we can do is,
Actually, do you mind if I ask a question, or would you like me to wait?
yeah.
So I noticed on page 8 at the bottom, the capital assets at year end, water, wastewater and drainage system has devalued, is that just because of age
It's
or?
just appreciation.
Depreciation, okay, great, thank you. That would be good.
So the financial statements begin on pages 9 and 10, and essentially, as we walk through the financial statements, we're gonna talk through basically everything that's in that MD&A. So again, pages 10 and 11 begin your financial statements. This is the top portion, if you will, of your balance sheet, also known as the statement of net position. I'll start in the left-hand column with your general fund, where you can see that as of the end of the year, the general fund had total assets of approximately $5.3 million, 90% of which is made up of cash and relatively highly liquid cash equivalent investments. The debt service fund had total assets as of the end of the year of about $631,000, and so for both of your funds, total assets for those funds is about $5.9 million. This next column here, the adjustments column, is what's known as GASB 34 adjustments. And what they do, they're required by governmental accounting standards to take those fund financial statements and put them into a more for-profit view. So for the asset portion of the balance sheet, which we're looking at right now, we're putting on to the top of the balance sheet about $12 million of capital assets, So your water, wastewater system, land, and any construction in progress out there. And then we're also putting on, to the top of the balance sheet, about $40,000 of deferred charges of refunding bonds, which is just the difference of what you pay your escrow agent when you refund a bond, and you have to amortize that down over the life of the remaining life of the bond. When we do that, you come down to about $18.2 million of assets in a more for-profit view, if you will. Next page, pages 12 and 13 is basically the bottom side of your balance sheet. Again, starting with your general fund, you'll see that as of the end of the year, you had total liabilities in the general fund, just under $725,000. Had approximately $45,000 of deferred inflows of resources, which represents uncollected property taxes as of the end of the year. Which brings you down to total fund balance in your general fund there of about $4.5 million. And if you move across the page there, you'll see your debt service fund, which is used to fund, or gonna be used to fund the final 3 years of your debt service payments on those bonds. Had an ending fund balance of about $602,000. So total fund balance for your governmental funds is that $5.143 million. And again, once we take that to a more for-profit view, which for your purposes is to put on the liability side of the balance sheet about $4.4 million of bond-related liabilities. You come down to the very bottom right-hand number here on page 13. Total net position balance of about $13.1 million, of which $4.6 million is considered unrestricted net position and can be used to, finance your day-to-day operations. Pages 15 and 16 is the statement of activities that also can be thought of as an income statement. Again, I'll start in the left-hand column with your general fund, where you can see this year the general fund brought in revenues of about $5.8 million, had expenditures offsetting those revenues of about $6.5 million. So year over year, you had a decrease in your general fund balance of almost $713,000. Your debt service fund had a slight increase in fund balance, almost $28,000. So total increase in your funds this year, or decrease in your funds this year, was about $685,000. But again, once we factor in those adjustments and we take that to a more for-profit view, you actually have a year-over-year increase in net position of that $467,254. Following that are the notes to the financial statements. The notes just give a little bit more detail and definition into the financials themselves. Because there have been no new accounting pronouncements that have come down the pipe that impact you all, they're very similar to what you've seen in the past. There's a detailed discussion on pages 23 and 24 of your outstanding debt as of the end of the year. It really culminates in the table towards the top of page 24, where you can see that as of September 30th, you had total bonds outstanding of that $4,095,000, of which next year you've got principal payments coming due of $1,275,000, with additional interest payments coming due on those bonds of about $152,000. And you, like I say, you've only got 3 years left on the bonds, so, we're almost there.
Yeah.
Pages 25 and 26 provides detailed discussion of your cash and investment balances. Takeaways here being that your cash balance is fully covered by FDIC insurance as of the end of the year, and your investments, which are solely with tax pool and certificates of deposits, all of which are earning anywhere from 4.4 to 5.5%. Are both in compliance with your investment policy as well as in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act. All of those things are requirements for you guys to follow. So with regards to bonds, did just want to bring your attention to the very last footnote on page 29, and there's already some discussion around this, but the pending bond sale regarding about $3.2 million park bonds that you guys, I think, are expecting to hopefully sell in, the near term, maybe March of this coming year, or this year. Yeah, fingers crossed. Page 31 is a budget to actual, for your general fund, very bottom right hand number. You'll see you finished the year, behind budget by about $37,000. You know, the main contributor there is just water service revenue coming in less than budgeted for, or less than expected. And then following that are schedules that are required by the TCQ. They just give a little bit more, provide a little bit more information and insight into the district itself. One page I would bring to your attention, page 40, provides a really nice analysis of the district's taxes levied and receivable for the year. So if you look on page 40, under the 2023 column heading, which is the 2023 tax year, and equates to the 2024 fiscal year we're talking about right now, you can see that based on a property valuation in the district of almost $682 million, that you all levied a total tax rate of 59.05 cents, which resulted in a tax levy of just over $4 million. And as of the end of the year, you had collected over 99% of the taxes levied. So, again, this year, strong collections in the district. And then I think the only other two pages I would bring to your attention in the audit, pages 44 and 45, we already touched on the outstanding debt of the district as of the end of the year, but this schedule here provides a nice, high-level overview of the changes in long-term debt during the year. So you can look, just going across the top of the page, you started the year with a little over $5.3 million of bonds outstanding, paid down principal this year of over $1.2 million, and paid additional interest on those bonds of almost $193,000, which again brings us back to that $4,095,000 that we already discussed on page 24. Beyond the audit report, I included two letters at the back of the audit report. Same letters you've seen in the past. One is just to let you know that we prepared, the audit report, including the footnotes to the financial statements, as well as those GASB 34 entries that we discussed, taking their fund financial statements to a more for-profit view. And then the other is what's known as an audit summary letter. Takeaways here being that there were no difficulties encountered performing the audit, no disagreements with management during the course of the audit, and really trivial adjustments as a result for audit procedures, none of which actually affected your ending fund balances. So again, this year, clean audit process, clean audit opinion, which is what you're going for. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Great, I'll go around the room. Director Shoemaker,
No questions, thank you for doing this,
Absolutely, thank you.
very thorough.
Director Stanfield,
I second.
Director Shoemaker, thank you. Director Johnson?
Yes, thank you, and I was just reading through the material weaknesses, but it seems like it's, if memory serves, those were all weaknesses last year, and it's just a way that the district is structured because we're so small, is that right?
Right, yeah, this is the exact same letter you received in the past, and the thing is, the AICPA really doesn't allow us any kind of leverage. We don't think that you would ever prepare this audit report yourself, we would never expect you to, but because we do it, we're required to just
Of course,
let you guys know.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Director Young?
No comments.
Okay, great, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Stay
Have a
warm
good
out
night.
there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And can you bring Jim up on the call? I think he's online.
Yes, indeed.
Am I good? Can y'all hear me?
Hear us?
It's a little delayed, but that's no problem at all. So it's great to be back, everyone. I hope everyone's year is starting off on the right direction and off to a great start. And it's really great, like I said, really great to be back in front of everyone. Apologize I couldn't be there tonight, but I will be there next month for sure. As you guys can probably see, there's been a tremendous amount of progress out there. You can see a lot of things going vertical and above the ground. A real quick update on the Shield Sporting Goods store is their exterior basement walls have been completed. 10% of their first floor is actually already completed as well, and they've raised 2 stair towers. Those are the 2 structures that you see raised in front of when you're driving down New Hope. So they're actually a month ahead of schedule and tracking really, really well. As we discussed back in November, the NFM contract did mobilize in November of last year. So they're on track to start the utilities this month. They're going to begin to go vertical next month. So you'll start, as they go vertical, they have to go down before they go up. So you won't see anything for about a month or so. I will be bringing next month to the meeting. I'll bring a representative of their construction firm, as I did with Shields. We brought in a member of Sampson. And I'm also going to bring, if it's okay with y'all, we do a tremendous amount of site aerials. So I'll bring some site aerials, some overheads to give you a good idea of what's going on in the site. It might be a little frustrating. But why aren't they doing anything? There's so much going on. And it's really impressive to see it from the air. So I'm going to bring that next month. And Ursula and Lisa, if we can work out something graphically and how we need to illustrate that, we can figure that out. And I'll send it over to y'all before the meeting so the public can share in all of that. A couple of things that affect Blockhouse. We did complete the 3 storm sewer taps before Thanksgiving, as promised. So all those taps have been tied in along Creek Run. So that work is done, except of restoring that one section that we dug up. And that probably won't happen for another 2 months until all the weather breaks. So we'll get that work completed. One thing you can probably see from the road, and some of the neighbors along Creek Run can tell you, is we have completed that 2,500 lineal foot CMU wall. It's up. It looks amazing. It's beautiful. I've walked behind there countless times. I can't believe how quiet it is behind that wall. So that's really impressive. So that finished a month early. And one other thing that we're going to do is the 30-foot buffer area from the back of those houses to that CMU wall. We are going to complete all of the required tree landscaping and irrigation. So that'll be done before or around April of this year. So that'll be done. So that'll be completely, not turned over, but given back to the way it's supposed to be 2 years from now. So basically we expedited that 2 years. So I think that's a really amazing feat. One thing you keep hearing about me talking about is we're on track, we're ahead of schedule. For a project of this size to be ahead of schedule, it's really impressive. So everyone's doing a fantastic job. A lot of that comes from the help that you guys have provided us and been really great neighbors. To be honest with you, those are really the major updates that we have right now. There's not a lot going on. I know there's a lot of improvements to the roadway structure, but I think everything is on track, on pace. We've been very conscious of any traffic situations that have come up, and hope we haven't inconvenienced anyone on that aspect of it. But that's really where we are, y'all.
Okay, Jim, thank you very much. I'm gonna go around the room and see if anybody has any questions. Director Schumacher?
Sure.
No questions, thank you for the update.
Director Stanfield?
No questions, thank you.
Director Johnson?
Nope, thanks so much, Jim.
Director Young?
I'm a little late on this, but I kind of wish we'd gotten some sort of a time-lapse video and photography. Is there anything that you guys are doing, recording, that perhaps you could share with us and residents?
We can. I just need to figure out how to do it. We are monitored 24/7. We do have countless drone patterns that fly the same pattern weekly. I don't know what the effort looks like to provide. I hate to say this on record without NFM approving it, but I don't see an issue at this time with providing a monthly photo, or even when I come every month, just provide you a monthly update of what's going on. I don't think anyone will notice day to day what's going on. I would find that hard pressed. It's hard for me to know sometimes, and I'm there every day. So maybe a bi-weekly, or without a doubt a monthly. They work at such a fast pace. They open the ditch up and they close it in a couple hours, so you don't even know that things happen. But I think now it's getting to the point now where it would be great to see what's going on. So I agree with you. We'll work on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's really kind of hard craning my neck over the wall nowadays when it's 25 feet. And stuff like that, so I would appreciate it, I think, residents would as well.
Hey,
Sure.
Jim, I'll give you a call after, later this week, I'd like to get Amanda Stanfield out there. Kinda like when Lisa and I drove around, since she's new on the board, and just kinda give her an overall, perspective of it, is that okay with you?
Oh, 100%, not a problem at all. You let me know when you're gonna be out there. As long as it's not too early or too cold, I'm good.
Yeah, right, before it was too hot.
Yeah, it's all
Alright,
good.
thank you so much, Jim, thanks for joining us, and we will talk soon.
Yes, all right. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to consent items. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from December 6th and December 12th? The minutes from December 6th were agreed.
Motion.
Second for discussion,
Sure, I'll start with you, Director Johnson.
I don't have anything.
Director Young,
No comments.
Director Shoemaker.
No comments.
No comments.
On page 3, under the discussion about Premier, it states that he was confirmed with Premier that was ready to assist the OA's polar plunge. It's actually the Tidal A's polar plunge.
Good point. Good catch, thank you. Okay, Sean will.
Minor issue.
Yeah, but it's good, it's a good catch, thank you. Okay, all in favor with that minor adjustment?
Aye.
Okay, bond items, number 4, so you wanna just give us a quick little update? We're not really voting on anything tonight, but we're moving forward.
Yep, so just to refresh everyone's memory of your calendar, I don't know if we can include that in here, but the bond is on pace to sell next month, so I think at this point, David and Trent are working to narrow things down with their design and getting those ducks in a row. And I think the plan is to try to bid contemporaneously with the release of the funds. And so you guys will, your financial advisor on your behalf will solicit bids, in advance of your meeting next month. Assuming they have a recommendation and you guys are going with their recommendation, you will award that bid. And the closing for the transaction will occur in March. And those funds will flow at that point to the district, to be used on your projects. So we're pretty close.
That's really exciting. Any questions on that? Okay, I did talk to David Gray today a little bit, and Trent last week, and I think once the bonds sell, then we'll go ahead and put out a timeline. I think we talked about that for the residents, cause things will be a little bit more set in stone. I think you all have a meeting tomorrow, is that right? I know you have a
Chatted
meeting.
last week,
Okay.
David and Trent not chatted.
Yeah, okay.
Did have one question, are we gonna need to do any special meetings the next couple months for any of these things, or you think we can all handle it regularly?
But yeah, usually we can structure it around the meetings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
I'll need a little bit of heads up for any of these questions.
Yeah,
Yep, we'll do.
yeah, I'm gonna have a sub for you too. I need to do that. Okay.
Usually, these things are well planned out, and so usually you can work around regular meeting schedules.
Thank you.
Good deal, okay. Director, Deputy Lovato.
Nothing really to report, had a couple incidences in the neighborhood, one on Christmas Day. Guy assaulted his parents, but we were able to catch him, cause he did run from us through the park, or through the school. So just in case anybody was calling you guys, asking what happened. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
You have a new deputy, is that right?
Yes, so Sergeant Pearson was just brought on, and we're also bringing another one on. Detective Hippert is coming back as well.
Oh, good.
So they said they.
I got a question, missed this.
Director Young has a question.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was looking through the reports and it appears that, one of the deputies is consistently locking the gates an hour or more before the park's actually closed. What's going on there?
So I already had a talk with the president about this with a subcommittee meeting. We have a policy that states that we can't work a certain number of hours a month or a day. And if we go beyond that, we can be subject to punishment by the sheriff's office. That includes regular duty hours along with our extra job hours. So we can't work more, I believe it's 15 hours a day. So talking with a subcommittee meeting, they said as long as, you know, there's nobody else in the park, nobody's affected by it, go ahead and lock the gates. If there are people there, let them know, and they'll go back and lock it at a later time.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, I think we need to discuss that among the board. Maybe we could put that on the agenda for next month. It just, if we're closing disc golf at 8 o'clock some days because a director won't, lock the gate for them or whatever. I think we just need to have a fail open, but let's
Okay.
discuss
Yeah,
it.
so that's an assumption there, and, actually, the subcommittee decided we would put it back on the agenda because, we were talking about even having the gates on some of the, parks and eliminating some of those, and so I think Amanda just kind of wanted to get up to speed and see how things were going. And we've had 0 complaints, and I have been in communication with, the disc golf people quite a bit, and honestly, it's pitch dark at 5:30. I have gone out there at 10 o'clock, a dozen times? And I have ran into some unruly people, and I've had to take my daughter out there with me while I'm closing the gates. And so the subcommittee thought, out of safety for all of us and adhering to Wilco's standards, that we would close them at 8 o'clock sometimes. And of course, when the light changes, but we will bring it up to the full board for a full discussion.
Right.
Okay? Thank you, Deputy Lovato. Okay, amenities, report from Mark. Mark, are you online?
Yes, I sure am.
Oh,
There we go. Yeah, so the polls are running normal. We did have an issue at Apache with the power supply on the Variable Speed Drive on January 4th was showing an earth fault. It continued to show that the next day. I did bring out an electrician who rewired the wires coming from the Variable Speed Drive to the pump. Continued to show the earth fault, but the next day when I went out there on January 5th, was able to get the pump restarted, and it's been working ever since. We did reach out to Progressive or Landmark Aquatics now to replace that pump for you. I believe it was last March. And they were on board to replace it, but since it's been working, they said they can't really warranty it since it's working at this time. Since then, it's been working consistently. I did have one more time that the breaker tripped, but the breaker just tripped, reset it, and everything started right back up without an issue. So don't know what's going on with it, but we're watching that, keeping an eye on it, and we'll definitely reach out if we do have any more issues with it. Other than
and
that,
that panel's brand new, right, guys? Didn't we just replace that whole panel like last year?
That does sound familiar.
I
Yeah,
think we did, yeah.
okay, sorry, Mark.
not a
Go
problem.
ahead.
Other than that, we're just preparing for summer. We've started to do a complete walkthrough of both facilities, and I'll be getting with Lisa here shortly to go over just a few items. There's not a lot that needs to be done, but there's a couple things to take a look at. And we're just preparing for summer.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and move on to, priority landscapes. Is Tripp or Clint on the phone?
Clint's here.
Hey, Clint, what you got
Hey,
for
how are
us?
y'all? Just continuing on with winter style maintenance every other week. Pretty much got the leaves picked up, at least the fall leaves. We'll be anticipating the live oak drop here in towards the end of February. Continuing on with perennial cutbacks from the winter freeze. And we were able to get all the Christmas trees chipped up earlier this week, so that is done. We installed the new Weathermatic controllers first week of January to Tomlinson, Tonkawa, Comanche, and the front entry areas. So we're working on getting those completely online to where they're controlled remotely and not having to come to the site to program or to turn water off through the controller or adjust programs.
Okay, any questions for priority? No, okay, thank you very much, have a good evening. We
You
have
too,
a
thank you.
proposal. No, we don't. No, we don't, okay, no, we don't,
Not-
okay. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to, the wood at the community center. So, I just actually have some questions where we are with it. Has it been turned over? And Robert, that was kind of your project, so I see you brought some samples, but has that wood, I know a couple months ago you were talking about needing some help flipping it. Did you get help and did it get flipped?
No, I was not able to flip it.
Okay, and is that putting the wood at risk, or is it okay if it's not flipped? I know that wood you worked on, but I'm asking, my question is it at risk for not flipping it?
Risk of what?
So you don't need to flip it, is what you're telling me?
No, I don't think it's gonna get flipped.
And it doesn't need to be flipped, okay. A couple of months ago, we asked, or you asked us if you could reach out to one of the high schools, and we gave you permission to do that, you're just gonna submit a memo to us of what your description was gonna be. I don't think I ever saw that come through, did you write that memo, did I miss it?
I haven't heard back from any of the high schools.
Okay, so you reached out to the high schools, but you didn't send us what you're gonna reach out to them about?
I've talked to the board about it.
Yeah, we asked
See if
you,
we can't get them to help out on some level.
yeah, and I think the directive was for you to write up a memo to let us know what the specific ask was, so,
And maybe the amenities committee can do that now.
okay, so you never heard from them, okay. So I guess my question is, maybe let's just direct this to the amenities subcommittee, what we wanna do with that. It's, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a big pile of wood, it's great wood, it's beautiful. I'm afraid that we're gonna start getting, critters, snakes, different things, it is a little, I don't call them eyesore, it's actually really pretty wood, but maybe a little bit of a health and safety issue, so Mandy, let's look at that from amenities and come back with something and see if we have an idea of what we wanna do with that. Do you have any?
Would you be able to share your contact that you reached out to at the high school, so we can?
Yeah, I need to look it up. It needs to be processed, and I'm happy to do that, so, maybe we could just start grabbing some and running it through the planer, and then, I prefer to store it indoors, now that it's had the time to age. Hopefully we can do that. There's some space.
Okay, alright, well, the amenities, we'll look at it and come back maybe the next month or two on that. I just kinda wanna get an update, cause I haven't heard anything. We have a proposal for Twin Electric for electrical repair and upgrades for the Humano Center. Did a subcommittee work on that? Yeah.
Yes, the $15,100.
Yes.
That was professional services. We had, the Twin Electric go out to look at it because of, we knew it was needing repair, the board voted on that a while back. And actually, Lisa reached out to us, to David and I, about it. They found a number of things wrong, and so actually recommended closing the Germano building until it was repaired, until these things are done. So assuming that we approve this tonight, Lisa will tell them to get started, and it'll be done 3 to 4 weeks, although she thinks maybe we can climb that down a little bit. Also, it should be noted that these expenses will be reimbursable with the park bond.
Okay,
So it's 15.1 that's not in the budget, but
We should be reimbursed.
I think we have over $100,000 in,
And it's a serious safety issue, you know, in the
Yeah.
region, like the GFCIs, if those are not in operation, someone can get shot, right? That's the big thing, you know?
absolutely, no
So,
safety first, so.
currently only one group has had that building reserved, the Boy Scouts. They at least has reached out to them and talked to them. No one else is obviously allowed to make reservations in the meantime.
Okay.
But to be,
So I will just add that we have a seat swap, and then we have a seat starter 101 class with the community garden. And they usually do use that bathroom, but I've already told them they can't, so nobody will be going in there, just so you all know, and they're aware of that. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the proposal for Twin Electric for 1501?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, so, Director Stanfield and I were talking, Trent was amazing, came to us a couple months ago, talking about grants that are available that we could apply for. And then, Stanfield was talking about the LCRA, and their deadline was the 31st of January. So we jumped on it real quick, we talked to Sean, we talked to, Trent, but they have a second deadline, which is the end of July. And so, and it's pretty neat, I mean, you have to go and look at all the descriptions, but it's up to $50,000 from LCRA, specific projects. We couldn't like add it to the playground, because we already have money coming, so I could kind of like a single use, kind of like, maybe the bathrooms, or could even be the Humano building. You have to be a little careful, because sometimes it does open it up to public, sometimes it doesn't. So my question, so in talking to Trent, it's more than just LCRA, there's a lot of, TxDOT has some grants that are gonna be available that we could use in our hiking parks and kind of connecting it throughout here, and those are actually a lot more. So what I'd like to ask is, can we put together an ad hoc subcommittee to work on the grants, which would be working with Trent and Judy, who is their grant specialist, who does a lot of writing, does a lot of researching. And then have that ad hoc subcommittee come to the full board and bring some suggestions of grants that we may be interested in, looking at the deadlines, looking at the parameters around it, and then getting your approval to submit for some of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I think it's a good idea, I think that we look at that, I know we have in the past, but, you know, cause I know Parks, I think does some, but we need to look through other options, because it might help us get some stuff developed, and honestly, at some level, some of these things, like, we're going to have outside people coming through anyway, so, you know, like trails and stuff, so, you know, but we should definitely consider that.
Yeah, and I think have more people on our trails is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that keeps some of the homeless camps away and some of that, so. Would anybody like to sit on the ad hoc subcommittee? I know Amanda and I have worked on it a little bit already, but if,
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll be happy to be on.
okay, and then Amanda, do you wanna work on it with Johnson? Okay, perfect. Let's go and do Stanfield and Johnson on the ad hoc. And since you've already been on the call, Stanfield, will you reach out to Trent and get that rolling with him and Judy? Okay, great, fantastic, I think that's gonna be kind of exciting. And the report from the Mindy subcommittee is in the packet. PR, I don't think we really have anything on special events, the newsletter just came out. I would like to publicly acknowledge the Hashburgers, I think I said that correctly, Ashley and her family. They were the volunteer of the month, she does so much with the community, not only with the community garden, but many other things, as well as the school district, and her family does a lot for Blockhouse, so it's kind of fun to recognize them, so thank you. Anybody have any questions on newsletter?
I don't have any questions. I do have a comment though, if that's okay.
Please.
Just wanted to update the board that we are now managing the e-sign as well, right along with the OA. So any information that you all want to send over to the GM or to Amy, please feel free to do that. We're happy to always be putting out information for MS4. We want residents to be aware of our drainage system and also any other events that you guys can think of that we need to just communicate to residents. Also, in the newsletter, we have asked residents and obviously the board members as well, any pictures that you guys have of the district that you guys want to submit for the newsletter, we're happy to take those pictures on and show the district. And so we were happy to do that. If you guys have any questions, we'd love to get y'all, like I said, the input that you all have.
Great,
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Amanda, you had a cool picture of the creek with the snow, that'd be kinda cool.
Oh yeah, that was my backyard.
Yeah, that was really cool,
It was fun.
really neat. Okay, I'm gonna hold restricted covenants, but then we need to go into,
Yeah.
executive, if you don't mind. Let's go, Tyler, are you on for finance and audit?
Yes, I'm here. All right, so for bills and invoices, we have checks number 9264 through 9302 for approval. That includes the invoices on the supplemental packet that I sent out on Monday. For transfers, we had 2 transfers, your regular monthly tax transfer and a transfer over to your manager's account in order to pay those checks. We have 3 CDs. Your next one to mature will be in April. It's at 4.66%. And we have started making a bulk of the collections for your 2024 tax roll. We're at 72% collected, expecting majority of that to come in here in January, and hoping to be close to 98% before the deadline of January 31st.
Great, okay, do I have a motion to approve payment of bills and invoices, the 2 fund transfers, investments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm opposed. I'll just say it real quickly, I don't wanna oppose all the bills and invoices. I'm not comfortable with payment of per diems, and that is in my complaint that we'll go over next month, so I'm a no. Okay, community garden financial account, Director Stanfield.
So the community garden is looking for an option to be able to receive payment on site when they have vendors coming in or they have classes. I know Tyler had set up the credit card reader here in the Walker House, but a lot of these events are on the weekend or evenings, and so that's not necessarily available. We had talked about in our meeting potentially needing some policy around that account for the mud, or for the community garden, but we were also kind of at a standstill of, is this something that MUDs do, where the funds are then produced back into the garden that they collect, or does it stay within the MUD's accounts?
So I wanna make sure I understand, you're talking about receiving money, can you lay out kind of?
So they would be receiving money based off of classes, so if someone pays to attend a class, or if there's a donation that comes in, or if a vendor is reserving a booth, they would be paying. And so instead of it just staying in the MUD's overall budget, it would be allocated towards the garden for upkeep and special events.
I think it's fine for the district to dedicate it, to have it stay there.
Okay, so Tyler, were you able to find out any information on if that's something they can do without the credit card reader from the bank?
I don't think having the credit card reader on the weekends is going to be something that we're able to do. There's no app or website that we can use. We would need something that's like the credit card reader is pretty much the extent of what we can do. So if there was a way we could do prepayments before an event, say if an event's on a weekend, they have to pay by Friday within business hours. I just don't see a way we could have the credit card reader in somebody else's hands, outside of the district's employees.
Yeah, I think like for the classes, it is sign up beforehand. We want people to reserve so that we know how many people are gonna attend, because we buy supplies and such for that. I think for the booths for the market days, it's definitely sign up ahead of time, so I don't foresee that being a problem. What was the third scenario? Do you have a third one?
Are they gonna process payments there for other people, like outsiders, like, you know, that one they probably can't square.
Like, what would be an example?
So like if we had someone on site that walked through and wanted to donate towards the garden
Yeah.
that day, I mean, I guess we can just
Direct them to come up
direct
to
them.
Amy,
and
yeah.
send-
Because last year, we put out that we were building that tent, what we call the Monarch, building now. And we had somebody, a resident, donate $200, and so she just Venmoed the $200 to Ash. And then we went out and bought the thing on, but it would be cleaner, so we could just direct her to go to Amy, so I think for right now, it's okay. Yeah, if you guys are all right with that, so is there any
So
action?
do we need to create a specific line item for the garden, or
We should
how
have
do we?
one. In the budget, we should have one, we used to.
Right, and we'll make a separate budget item for any revenues that come in. It can be pretty straightforward, garden revenue, garden expense. We wouldn't necessarily need to make a separate checking account even. It can stay within the regular checking account. It would just go to that separate line item.
Okay.
Director
That
Logan,
works.
my question would be, for any of the vendors that are coming in, or vendors that are coming in to reserve a spot, will you all keep a list? So that way Amy can go in, and that way we're not actually having to keep the general ledger on that will eventually go to Tyler, so he can know what's garden plot and then what's the difference of a Monarch rental or, any other donations or market day rental.
Yeah. Yeah, we, last year we were just learning, and so I had spreadsheets showing who signed up for what month and their contact information and such, but obviously they weren't paying. I think this year we'll probably do event pages. I know for our first classroom, we did an event page, and people have to register. So we will, the answer is yes, we'll have that information on an event page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
Excellent.
all right, any other action on that?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to professional services. Crystal, I believe you're on the line.
I am.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening. All right, so on behalf of Gray, let's see, we've been assisting with general engineering services as needed. Just ongoing matters as needed. We've spoken about the recreational bond issue. I was going to defer to the district's financial advisor regarding the sale of bonds, but we've spoken about that a little bit this evening already. We're coordinating with Hitchcock Design regarding the Tumlinson Playscape, and we are in preparation of the bid documents currently for advertisement for next month. as Sean had mentioned. And let's see, last but not least, Jim had spoken about the site development next door. And as he had mentioned, a lot's going on, but we've continued to monitor everything from the storm drain tie-ins to the wall. And we look forward to that buffer and that landscape that he had mentioned, and monitoring that as well. And yeah, that's it for us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, would you mind staying on the line? We just may come back to you in a few minutes on something. May have a question, we may not, but if you don't mind just hanging on.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Crossroads, Ben.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Hey, I'll be brief. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Next meeting, we will have a quote in our packet. It will be for $8,000 for replacing our dialer system at the Spamunti lift station. We have 2 write-offs this month, $361.16. I'll just need approval from the board tonight.
Do I have a motion to approve the write-offs of $361.16?
Motion.
Is that a second from you, Johnson?
It is.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Hey, Ben, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I echoing?
Sound down.
He's got a speaker.
Yeah.
You just got some echo there, Ben.
Sorry. Ooh. I spoke with Ernie today with AT&T, and he said there's no movement yet, but he will keep us updated. And then last thing would be Crossroads has reviewed the current policy for the identity theft, and we recommend no changes.
Okay, do we need to approve that, Sean? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the identity theft? That's basically when you call in, you know, I can't call in and shut down Director Johnson's water.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it, even though I wanna turn off.
Yeah. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Ben. Report from TDS, I don't think we really have anything on there. I think hopefully we'll be bringing that up next month for review and approval of the contract. Stormwater management. So we have a proposal from Quiddity, and Crystal, this is kind of what I wanted to, if we had any questions. Did y'all get a chance to review that proposal? Okay, it's $25,000, and I was just a little surprised how much it is. It's for them to do the MS4 report, basically. I did talk to David Gray's group. They're a little bit lower, but I would like for you all, we have a really good relationship with Quiddity, and they used to be Jones and Carter, and Kathy is fantastic. Right, Sean? So, I was looking for you to go. So, if it's okay, can we direct the services subcommittee to go back and just kind of find out what all's entailed? Because the proposal itself talks about training, and then it talks about submitting that report. And, I mean, we already did a lot of that work, remember?
Yeah, a lot of it is just keep doing what we're doing, so
Right, I'm
also
kind of,
not sure why it's that.
I was really surprised, because what they said, and I think I shared this last month, is when Johnson and I were on the call with them and submitting, and I spent like an hour or so submitting our accounts, they were just blown away of what a great job we do. Yeah, you're laughing because you didn't do it. But they were just impressed with Blockhouse. They wish all their clients were on top of, you know, communicating with stormwater issues, so.
A lot of it's for everyone else, a lot of the stuff that we have to do for MS4 is, you know, at events, we could just hand out information or have information on the sign or in newsletters or.
Play a video
Or
here.
playing the video before the meetings, all of that stuff counts, so. Not for everything, there's still a lot we have to do, but
Yeah, that's a big.
a lot of the boxes are checked just by things that
We already, yeah.
either we already do or are a slight tweak.
What was our cost with them last time?
That's what I was wondering, I can't remember.
That's, do you know?
Tyler could probably tell us.
Tyler,
Tyler, you remember what our cost for Quady was last time?
I will
I
say,
feel like
I
it
think
was
this-
less, but not a
I
whole
think
lot.
this is in range, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I did-
think, that's just my recollection.
Is Tyler still on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
What do we, okay,
Well, Tyler, for Quiddity, can you pull up what we paid them last time? I feel like it was less than 25,500, but not a whole lot less. I wanna say like it was in the 20,000 ballpark, but that's part of our discussion on this issue.
Let me see if it says that on
And the
most streets.
feds have pushed down some changes, so it's not mirrored from last year.
Remaining contract is, I'm not sure if this is the full, but 10,600.
Yeah, okay.
Seems a little low, yeah. Can we check on that before the next meeting, Tyler? Or do we need to approve this tonight?
No, what I'd like to do is for the services subcommittee to meet and get that number.
Okay.
And then maybe talk to Kathy and see what all is,
Can I make a suggestion
Yeah.
here, cause you'll note that the permit year starts on February
February.
11th.
yeah,
I would suggest consideration that it be approved subject to final confirmation of the services subcommittee.
Okay, cause I recall this is not terribly out of line on the pricing, I just can't remember for sure.
So we
Yeah,
well, I think there's about
Pretty sure
10
it's ballpark.
grand difference with what David Gray would do, and he's doing it for about 6 other clients right now. So, but again, these, or Jones and Carter has done it forever, so, okay, do I have a motion to approve this now, but based on letting the services subcommittee go and find out really what all is entailed and what we paid last year, and maybe see if we can bring it down a little bit?
So to clarify, we would approve it, and if David and I think that it's comparable to last year, it's approved, and if we don't, then we would tell you all.
Mhm.
Okay. I think-
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay,
I can motion that.
motion, okay, second
Yeah, we
motion,
can figure it out.
second,
Second.
okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Crystal, that's it, thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Yes, okay, General Manager Lisa, I know your report's in the packet, do you have anything else to add?
Yes, my report is in the packet as mentioned. I did want to add that I forgot to let you all know that the monument had some electrical issues, and we did have all of those electrical issues addressed. There are now new lights out at the monument. I did receive a question while you all were talking with Mark about the pumps out at Apache. The question was, are we keeping up with the pump installation warranty information in Spyglass? And we are, which gives us an opportunity to go to the company and ask them to go ahead and take a look at those items when they're coming up. So want to make sure that you all are aware that we are taking care of that, and let the resident know that was asking that question that we are keeping up with this warranted information. We did reach out to Landmark, as Mark mentioned to you. They didn't see any reason to come out. Because again, the pump is working. That panel itself is correct and fine by Twin Electrics. I will mention it to them. That panel should have been under warranty as well, but we don't have or haven't had any other issues. So we want to drive it back to the motors that have been provided to us in previous by Landmark. But we'll keep you all updated on that. I did want to mention you all did approve the Twin Electrics Germano building quote, and they did ask they did have that at $15,100. I am asking for the board to approve $7,500 of that so that they're able to get all of the materials needed and work with Tyler on getting a check back to the district, back to the contractor for that.
Does that need to be a vote or can it be a directive?
I thought we did not.
We didn't do this
She's asking if
75.
we pay 75.
Oh, okay.
I think we need to do a motion on that.
Okay, do we have a motion to go ahead and let Lisa to give them 7,500 out?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for that.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, you got it.
I also wanted to
Anything?
mention, just to give you all an update and reminder, obviously we've gone through 2 small winter events thus far. We did in this past year make sure that Tumlinson Pool, all of the copper that was there, we removed that and replaced it with PEX. We had a great outcome, so all crisis averted when it comes to that. So great job on approving that. And like I said, we did a great job as far as making sure that everything was prepared for the winter event. Also, we did have hard install of heaters at the Tumlinson Pool, and those worked very well. Mark did a great job at sending his people in to make sure that everything was up to par for this winter event. So just wanted to let you all know that they're doing a great job out there, and that was a great purchase for the district as well. I don't have
Great,
any
thank
other
you.
question or any other comments. If you guys have questions for me, I'm happy to answer them for you all.
All right, thank you. Does anybody have a question for Lisa?
Not this time.
Okay, she did remind me, I skipped over number 10, which is a proposal for the community mural at Humana Building. So the community gardeners have come up with a mural that we wanna do on the side. We already have a student at Rouse, it's an art student that, Ash has or Jennifer suggested. So, I'd like to just have permission that they do that. It's not gonna cost any money, any monies for the paint and the supplies will be out of the community garden budget. Some of the stuff that we've raised, they did the lights and stuff, so they'll be part of that. So do I need a motion or just an okay from the board for them to go ahead and do that?
If you're revenue neutral, I think just yeah.
Does anybody have any concerns? There's a picture, an idea of what we're gonna do in the packet.
The wall on the building is aluminum that, it comes out, goes in, comes out, goes in. The photo that we looked at in the packet is flat. And it just seems like when you're doing murals, you really wanna have a flat surface, because as you look at it from different angles, it's gonna look really wonky, but if it was flat, it would turn out all right. Could we look into getting a facade that's going to be flat so that it won't look weird?
I think that's an interesting question, and our artist looked at the building and she didn't have any concerns with it. I think adding a facade's gonna add more cost to it, so we could probably do a little bit of trial and stuff, but I think artists can kind of play with it and do it. So any other concerns or questions? Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and scoot back on over to legal. Sean.
Sorry, just push a note here. Alright, let's see here, behind tab 30, I don't think we have any pending directives, on the legal side, behind tab 31, these are actually, I don't think Lauren is on from Public Finance Group. These are your standard disclosures that you get from your financial advisor every year. They have to advise you that they register with the MSRB, any conflict of interest they have, then of course the big one, they have to disclose all of their clients that they represent in a similar capacity. That is the exhibit there. Looks like they have 73 months that they are representing at this time. These are standard disclosures you get from your FA every year. So nothing else there. Under 32, this is more of a reminder. We have reached out to Gray Engineering just to make sure, and I think best practices has evolved over time, where we like to look at all your insurance coverages over the years, not only to make sure that we've got everything on there, but all the deductibles are set right. So we reached out to Gray, and no affirmative action there. This is more of a reminder to your consultants to take a look at all the coverage limits and deductibles and make sure we're good there. We'll report back there collectively if we do feel like any changes should be made to your policies. Item number 33 and 34, these are your annual review items. Take them one at a time here. One is a state law consideration, one is a more federal law consideration. Item 33 is the resolution confirming annual review, code of ethics, travel, professional services policy, financial investment policy, and adopting list of updated brokers. This is your code of ethics, amongst other things, pretty much all sorts of different state law provisions that the various codes, water district or otherwise, are required to be visited on an annual basis. No recommended changes to the actual policy itself. The one thing we do every year is update the list of authorized brokers, as it's referred to in code. In actuality, these are just the bankers you can do business with that will use your public funds in accordance with the Public Funds Investment Act. So usually we update this after consulting with your bookkeeper, and I think you'll see here what is in blue here I think is the new one. What is in red here is just the old ones being replaced. Happy to answer any questions you might have for me, but otherwise we would be looking for a resolution to approve the review of your services policy.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? On the TML, are we gonna have to go back to that once we have the new playscape built?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Sean, I did have a follow-up question, it's more just informational, but on the TML risk pool, the automotive coverage, what exactly are we covering? The district doesn't own any street vehicle.
The mule.
It covers 5 special people at this table on their traveling to their meetings.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does it include the mule? The Polaris?
No.
The mule's not on the road, right?
Yeah, it
It
is.
is.
Well, I mean,
It's probably under Crossroads, let's double check that.
it's not registered or licensed to travel on the road.
Correct.
I didn't realize.
It's not get the coverage on that road.
Okay, it's mainly in the parks, but okay.
I mean, it can be used on a road, but I think most of your auto insurance policies would exclude it, 'cause it's not a licensed registered vehicle, right?
Hey Lisa, will you double check on that, just in case something happens? We need to make sure we're okay.
I will.
You don't want Lovato pulling Travis over.
I won't.
Right.
Okay, all in favor, I think on that one we did that, right?
We're
Yes.
good. I can get down to the next one.
34, I think, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, 34. So I mentioned that was a kind of state year, so and these are kind of annual provisions, and then you'll see these come up every year at the January meeting. So this is the federal law provision that we visit. Luckily, you don't have to wade too far into federal law. This just has to do with your post-bond issuance, federal tax compliance. These were adopted probably before you guys ever issued any bonds, so these were probably initially drafted or some variant hereof in the early 80s, and so McCall Parker Shorten, your bond counsel, prepares these. We have checked in with them, they don't have any recommended changes this year. So this covers things like arbitrage, private business use, records retention, responsible person. These policies are really put into place to kind of buttress the fact that you've got good bond counsel, good financial advisor, that are giving you good advice on all your duties that pertain to your status as a municipal bond issuer. Of course, you're gonna re-up on that not next month, but in March. But what we also do in addition to that, not only do you have the consultants working for you, you've adopted these policies, and as best practice, you revisit them every year to make sure that they're updated and in accordance with everything that they need to be in accordance with. So with that said, I don't have any recommended changes, but happy to answer any questions you might have about the annual review of the written procedures for post-bond issuance federal tax compliance.
Do we need to vote on?
We do.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Man, second.
No, not I was saying, I just needed a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, 35, I have filed a complaint, it's, not ready, Sean has reviewed it, I need to, give him the final copy and send it out to all the directors, so we will have that in February. And it goes over why I didn't vote for bills and invoices tonight in a clear manner, as well as a few other things. Meeting, do we wanna go ahead and go into executive?
I think so.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
take care of that real
Yeah.
quick.
Well,
Okay.
just make sure that, so we're going into exec 7.2 to discuss.
We're going into executive session to discuss, restricted covenants, specific properties, no decisions will be made, and we will be right back.
Yeah, agenda item 17.
Yeah, thank you.
chase after him downstairs. Stop. Jumps the fence, goes down the creek.
We're on?
All like
You're back?
stuff, and all the vines and everything, like it's ripping my shirt and everything, I was like this. Wait a second.
Okay. We are out of executive session, no decisions were made. I'm gonna turn it over to our attorney, Sean.
Alright, and we are on restricted covenants here. Just to be sure here, under pending or contemplated litigation, my understanding, no updates on 17A or B. Good news to report, hold on 1 second. On 2805 Alexander Drive, my understanding in talking with my colleague Will Cardwell is that the issues here, after obtaining a default judgment in Williamson County District Court have been resolved. The underlying restrictive covenants, so that's good news here. It's our first recommendation that the district not pursue additional litigation within the court to recover attorney's fees. And so unless you guys feel otherwise, that would be our recommendation.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion, Sean, to confirm y'all's recommendation,
I
or?
think you can just direct us accordingly.
Okay, I think if the rest of the board's fine with it directing accordingly, we'll tell them it's final if the suit will not collect legal fees.
No. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right, we are just about done. Let's knock these last couple things out. Okay, board meeting structure, I believe Johnson, this was yours.
It is, so in having a few email exchanges with folks at Wells Branch and also discussing with Sean different things that Armbrust and Brown encounters, what we're thinking is just looking at the different, the last several of our agendas plus some of their Wells Branch agendas to see how that would work. I like the idea of splitting business and policy into separate meetings, I think that makes a lot of sense. However, we don't have policy items on enough of a regular basis to fill up a meeting and make it worthwhile for even those of us who live here. So what I was discussing with Sean is perhaps considering if we have policy items that can wait, maybe once a quarter
Yeah.
or every 6 months, depending on how they come up, we could have a policy only session. We still have the meeting where, we go through legal and we go through all the committees. And then if there's 3 or 4 meaty items, we could have a policy item.
Do you see that we kind of already do that sometimes, like throughout the year, like we've done it like with the playscape or
We have.
even with budget and stuff, like I think we naturally kind of do that, but I think it's a good reminder for us, like you were just saying, if some meeting things come up on our agenda to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know that we've split them into policy yet, but I think the same framework we've been using is good because it kind of separates, we don't need probably most of our vendors and consultants present for policy discussion, certainly Sean, but few others. And then also it allows us to stay focused and not bounce our brains between parsing the budget, parsing the bonds, and
yeah,
then also kind of the finer points of park hours or what other policy items that
yeah,
require kind of a different type of thinking.
yeah, okay.
So,
The other thing, you mind if I add
Please,
real
no,
quick,
yes,
is like, my understanding is, I think even though Wells Branch makes a representation that's what they're doing, I think they're kind of ad hoc as well. And my understanding is some of the topics that you guys are already meeting with special meetings on, particularly budget and tax levies, I think that is what some of their ad hoc policy meetings are for anyway. So I think you guys are actually fairly similar from a policy
Yeah.
perspective.
So maybe even our gate discussion and park hours maybe would be one that we would do this quarter.
yeah,
Okay.
right, those types of things. We'd wanna be real careful, especially if it's a shorter meeting, on who we make come.
Oh, definitely.
Right,
Lovato and Sean, they got the short stick.
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy, you get thrown to them.
Yeah, on topic too, yeah.
It would also need to be something that could wait.
Yeah.
Cause if it's an emergency, we don't wanna
Yeah, yeah,
have a special meeting.
okay, awesome, good. And then we'll talk about that Zeke board maybe next month,
Mhm.
when you have a little more chance. Okay, Lisa, you're still on case and AWBD memberships and conference.
Yes.
We did not pay for case this year, I think we paid for AWBD. We wanted your thoughts on the conferences are coming up in like June-ish.
Around June-ish. Yeah, this year case is going to be, I believe, in Corpus as opposed to being in South Padre. I'm not sure about AWBD. I know last year I went to Fort Worth. I don't know if Fort Worth is going to be the main site again for June. I thought that one was actually an excellent conference. That's the first time I had been to that one. I've been to Case many times. I don't have anything bad to say about Case at all. There's a lot of good information. I think that AWBD is very interesting only because it definitely focuses on more of our area, if you will. Not that Case doesn't, because they are, of the capital area, if you will, also. Just a little bit more information as far as the overall water district and all of the entities and how the laws are driven and things to that effect. So it's very informative, super informative as a matter of fact. So if the board decides that they're happy with just me attending, I'm happy to go do that and, bring back some information for the board. If you all decide that you want to attend either or if you have a preference of which one I attend, considering I did do ADB last year, or if you want me to go to Case this year, it just whatever you guys think is best, I'm happy to do that for you all.
Okay.
Sure.
Why don't we give you all a little bit of time to research it and then we'll discuss it next month, okay? Good.
Right.
You have anything on code of ethics, miscellaneous board subcommittees, and for future board meetings? We just have ours in February, so do I have a motion to adjourn, or do you have something, Sean?
Motion to February 26th.
Second.
You motioned?
I did, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Awesome, okay.
On something, this is just the client representation letter.